Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to another video. Yet another late start in court today. It is Tuesday the 21st of November and we had technical issues in court and they literally started around 12 o'clock, like literally 2 hours later. When Baloyi continued with the witness on the stand, Sgt Mokgola, he then took her through entries of the 19th of June, and they basically went through the record from yesterday with regards to a phone call that she received from Gininda for further investigations in Phokeng. They then went to Phokeng and she says the time was 7 o'clock at night, and Gininda, herself, Mogane and Mabena then obviously went to Phokeng. Now, there's a contradiction in her statement with the statement that we received from Mogane, because according to Mogane, on this particular day, he was with accused number 2 along with Mabena in a Toyota Fortuner and they drove to Rustenburg. However, they did not drive to the police station. He said that Gininda and Mokgola went to the police station to try get some backup in order for them to go to Ntanzi's place of residence. However, today, Mokgola is telling us that they drove to the police station, and when they got to the police station, they found Mogane and Mabena at the police station, and they then took off and went to accused number 2's place of residence. When they got to his place of residence, she says she recalls that Ntanzi then showed them where his keys are for his apartment or his room, and the keys were in his pockets. Now, guys, this is very hard to believe for myself, because firstly, Ntanzi had been arrested from the 16th of June, and it was now the 19th of June. He couldn't have had his keys with him because he was detained. And there was a question that was asked by Mngomezulu to this effect when he asked about Ntanzi wearing a watch. And I remember the judge made remarks saying he couldn't have worn a watch because this person was detained, so all of his belongings were taken. So how were his house keys still on him? Question. We then continue to hear her evidence with regards to them coming back and actually finding some ammunition at Ntanzi's house, Ntanzi being accused number 2, and then they then placed him under arrest for possession of unlicensed ammunition. And there was a question with regards to the vehicle she was driving at the time, which was a Golf 7, red in color, and she says she doesn't remember the registration of the car. And when questioned about the car tracking, she says she thought that the car did have tracking. However, it's come to her attention that it did not. So how can a state vehicle not have tracking? Question. Baloyi then went on to ask her about other vehicles which were allocated to her department or her unit, and she says there was a Combi VW, a Golf 6, a white Golf 7, and she was asked with regards to tracking on those vehicles, and she said that she did not know. Basically, Baloyi concluded his examination in chief with Sgt Mokgola, and we went on to start cross-examination by Mngomezulu, who is the defense for accused number 1 and 2. Mngomezulu's cross-examination started off by just confirming her years in the SAPS, her training, and also her address. She then says she did stay in the area in which she was working, and therefore Mngomezulu was heading his questions with the fact that she is well aware of the area and she's familiar with the area in which most of the incidents of assault took place. Now, Mngomezulu goes through the AVL report and basically tries to place locations, and the witness was seeming to be very confused with regards to all the questions regarding the streets and the off-ramps that Mngomezulu was referring to. He then basically just says, in the very same area that you say that you're so familiar with, there is a dumping site, and she denies knowing or having sight of the dumping site in the area, and Mngomezulu just goes on to say that he is stating this as a fact that there is a dumping site in the area. The judge then basically says, the AVL report by Mr. Dupree has not come before the court yet and you don't have sight of it. So how can you put this as a fact? Mngomezulu then says, as I said, I am familiar with this area and I stated as a fact that this area does exist. The dumping site is there. So yeah. Basically, it exists and the AVL report is just going to be confirming my statement. After the up and down of the AVL reports and the locations and garages and off-ramps and streets, Ngomezulu then just says he's going into the gist of the cross-examination. So he refers the witness to the day in which accused number 1 was arrested, which was the 30th of May. She confirms that she was allocated a docket, which has case number 217/03/2019, and this docket was allocated to her in November of 2019. The defense then asks if she is in possession of the docket. She agrees, and she's asked to then tell us the date of the offense, which was the 19th of March. And he then says, at this time you were not assigned to this case. She says yes. He then asks if this case was ever taken for a decision, and she says it was taken by herself. And Mngomezulu then questions if it fell under cold cases. And she says that is correct. And he asked why it was under cold cases, because the case was for March 2019 and was allocated to her in November of 2019. And she says, well, it was unsolved. And then we go on to asking about suspects that were arrested in connection to this case. And she says, yes, there was a person that was once arrested. And Mngomezulu asked when this person was arrested and what happened. The person was apparently arrested on the 19th of March 2019. They were taken to court, and the case was not placed on the court roll because some items needed to be analyzed. So Mngomezulu was just basically trying to confirm the J50, which was the warrant of arrest that was issued in connection with accused number 1. And before he could continue with that line of cross-examination, he then requested for the long adjournment for lunch. After the lunch break, Mngomezulu continued on the aspect of the arrest of Muzi Sibiya, and he asked the witness, Mokgola, to confirm the address that was in the docket. And she says the address was 1818 Vusumizi section in Tembisa. And he then asked why or when the matter was not placed on the court's roll, what did she do? She then says she made a statement and indicated that accused number 1 could not be found because of an invalid address. Now, Mngomezulu then questioned her with regards to actually confirming the address herself, and she says she didn't go there physically herself. However, one of her colleagues did go to confirm the address and could not find the accused at this said address. She then confirms that the address of the accused is actually 818 Vusumizi instead of 1818. And there was a back and forth with the defense with regards to basically the statement or the application that she made for the J50 warrant of arrest was basically done, was obtained irregularly, because the address that she had put on there was incorrect, and the accused's address was actually 1818, and he still insists that that is the right address. After a few minutes of a back and forth with the witness with regards to the incorrect address, the judge then says this will not assist the court. It's not assisting. How is it assisting the court? And he basically just doesn't allow Mngomezulu to explain himself. But when Mngomezulu gets the chance, he just says, according to both these accused, one was arrested on another docket, another was arrested on another docket. However, every time they are questioned regarding another case, which is the current case 636 of 10/2014. The defense then also stipulates that, out of all the times that they have booked out the accused for further investigation, they have booked them out on other cases. There isn't a single transaction or entry in the OB books that states that the accused were taken out of the cells for case 636. The witness then is very confused, and the defense just tries to break it down for her. The defense then points out the similarities with regards to the arrest of both the accused. Accused number one was arrested for a charge of drugs, and he was later then found in possession. Also, when they basically went to his room, he was found in possession in a black plastic bag of ammunition. And accused number two, same story, arrested for a Nongoma case. And when they come into his room, they find a black plastic with ammunition as well. Another thing that Mngomezulu points out to this witness is the fact that there are inconsistent statements from herself and Buthelezi, which was one of the EMPD officers. Buthelezi said when they arrested accused number one, they were two gentlemen. It was accused number one and another. However, Sgt Mokgola says there were three gentlemen. It was accused number one and two other gentlemen. So those testimonies are inconsistent. There's basically a difference with the two statements of the witnesses. The defense then basically tells us the version of the accused, that he was indeed assaulted, and then basically lets us know that according to the accused, there is no Vusumuzi hostel, which was said by the witness. He says there are two hostels in the Vusumuzi section. However, he did not direct them to any of these hostels. And then there was another inconsistency that Mngomezulu pointed out with regards to going to Foslera's hostel after the Vusumuzi hostel on the day of arrest. So according to Buthelezi, the accused was taken to Vusumuzi hostel and then later on taken to Foslera's hostel. However, according to this witness, Mokgola, accused number one was taken to the Vusumuzi hostel and then to Foslera's police station and not the hostel. He was only taken to the hostel on the 2nd of June. Mngomezulu then went into the evidence with regards to Umkhulu, which was a traditional healer, which apparently Muzi, accused number one, was using during this time. And there was a bit of a confusion because the version of the accused is that he never took them to Palm Ridge, which is where Umkhulu resides. A number was found on his phone for another traditional healer by the name of Magwaza. This is new evidence that we're hearing, or it's the first time that we're actually hearing this version of accused number one. Another thing that I found quite interesting just before the end of the day is that on the day that the accused was arrested, it is said that Ubuthelezi was there providing escort services for the police. And now they arrived at Ayrton, and when they got to Ayrton, Buthelezi was apparently parked outside in the parking, and he remained there for the duration of the time until they had to take accused number one to the police station in Pretoria. So his evidence was that they had they had arrested the accused during the day, and later on in the afternoon they went to Ayrton, where he remained in the vehicle outside, and the accused was taken into the building. However, he remained outside, and there was a time that he fell asleep and woke up, and it was time to take accused number one to Pretoria. But today the evidence is coming through that whilst they were waiting in the car outside, the accused was then handed over to Maphumulo and transported to Diepkloof, and then later brought back to Ayrton, where Ubuthelezi then took him to Pretoria. That evidence is a bit confusing because Why is it that the cops that arrested this gentleman or assisted in his arrest during the day were parked outside a building waiting for him to go out whilst he was being taken by another set of police officers from the same department or from the same unit to go make a confession elsewhere? Very confusing, but we will continue with cross-examination tomorrow. Mngomezulu has not yet completed the cross-examination, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed this video.